Hello, and welcome down to the Foxhole. We're going to continue on talking about reasons why I stopped drinking. But before I get to that, I do want to say from last episode, I talked about some life-altering events that changed my life with my dad passing and my dog King as well and such. I said those happened in 2023, and I was not right. I feel horrible that I didn't even know the year, but the year was actually 2022 when all this happened, not 2023. So I just wanted to state that before I go any further. And I'm so bad at years and dates and general. I really don't remember what happened any years besides specific dates, for example, when I graduated high school or when I graduated college, or when I moved to Vegas in 2019 in the pandemic year, and when Britney Spears performed "Oops" at the VMAs 2000. Other than that, I don't remember years. And it's crazy because I remember growing up all the time, when my grandma and mom were having conversations, they would always be like, oh yeah, in 1974 in January, we went to such and such. I'm just how do you remember that? I cannot, it's 2025 now. I do not remember a single thing that happened in year 2002, unless yeah, I have no clue what happened that year. Thank God for Google Photos and time hop and all that stuff to do it for me, because I have no recollection. But anyways, in the last episode, we reviewed, or I revealed 3 things that led me to why I stopped drinking. And they were hangovers, tension headaches, and also panic attacks and anxiety. And we're going to go over 3 other, reasons why I stopped drinking as well today. And we're going to start off with depression. So number one, alcohol is a depressant, and I really never figured that much, just because as I mentioned before, alcohol was always just fun for me until, I'm going through all these life altering, events. And that really led me down to a depression. So I never really had a problem with alcohol and, depression. But, when those life altering events happen, that's when, I started getting depressed. And so I didn't really realize it was, a depressant and how it would affect me. But I will say, as strange or weird as it may sound, I didn't even really know I was in a depression until I started to come out of it, and I was fully out of it. It's so weird to even think about it, but I really just didn't know, because I still lived my life the same. I would still go, wake up, I would still go to work, I would still, work out, even though I wasn't working out as much. I would still do my normal day-to-day routine. So it was, I don't know, it's kind of weird to say. I wonder if anybody else feels that way too, but I really just didn't know I was in a depression until I was out of it. And then when I was out of it, I'm damn, I just feel so bad for people that I was around that thought I was just a horrible person, because I'm not a horrible person at all. I'm very, nice, outgoing, always smiling, just always vibing. And I feel that wasn't me, when I was in, the depression. But, some of the symptoms of depression I had were I was always just sad, just persistent sadness, all the time. And I said, I'm pretty much a happy person. I'm a lover of life. So just being sad all the time just, really got to me. I had sleeping issues. I mentioned before, all I need is 3 to 4 hours of sleep. But I wasn't even getting those. I was up all night sometimes, just thinking overthinking, and I just could not stop thinking. My mind was like constantly racing. Like I'm trying to go to sleep. My eyes are trying to go to sleep. My eyes are closed, but like my mind is just alive and just woke. It just completely woke. I had difficulty concentrating like all the time, and this really like played a factor in at work. Like my workload, was pretty heavy, and I'm having all this, stuff going on inside of my mind. So like I could not concentrate at work for like the longest time, and like with that, like I started getting irritable. Like I was always agitated, especially at work, because I feel like I was somewhere like I really didn't want to be like at the time. Like, I like my job a lot, like, and like everything was good before the depression. But like when I was in the depression, looking back at it, like I was just not, I was there like 8 hours a day, like every day. Like I felt like I was just locked up, and I feel like I was just being held captive, like physically and mentally. Cause like, I like, couldn't really leave outside, lunch and, my daily walks. And mentally, cause like I had to focus on my work as much as like I did not want to focus on my work, like at all. Like my mind was just constantly just thinking about other things, like the whole 8 hours I was there. So like I was definitely not in a good place. And I feel like there was definitely certain times where like I may have not have been, the best employee or the best coworker for sure. So like I definitely feel bad about that. So and I'm currently not at that job any longer. So, it sucks a little bit that I never got to tell those people like sorry, like if I was ever like mean to you, or if I was ever agitated with you. Like it really sucks that I didn't really get to say like sorry, because a definitely apology is definitely needed. So maybe one day that, I'll run into them or whatnot. But if you're watching, I'm very sorry for just having bad vibes, basically. Because I'm all about like good vibes or goodbye. So yeah, depression was definitely, something else that led me to not drinking as well. And then bad decisions is another reason. Um, I want to read something to you guys. It says about 37 people die every day in drunk driving crashes, which is roughly one person every 39 minutes, which is just wild to me. I started like really like driving drunk all the time, and I feel like so bad about it. And now that I'm completely sober, I'm just thinking like, Bruce, like why were you doing this? Like it wasn't even worth it. And like I said, like I always felt like, I think I mentioned it in another episode, but I always felt like I was always in control. Like as weird as it sounds, like I was capable of driving, under the influence. But it got to the point where like I feel like I wasn't. And that's a huge issue. And there would be times where like I drove home and like I have no recollection. And again, that's something I had to deal with like on a daily basis, just like waking up the next morning, like not remembering like getting home, but like my car's here, there's no scratches on the car, there's no scratches on me, but like I just did not remember getting home. And that's just a huge issue, and that's a battle I had to deal with for a very long time. It still itches away with me, because when I'm driving like now and I see somebody like swerving and stuff like that, I'm just like, he's probably drunk or just can't drive. But like that's where my mind goes. I'm just like thinking like, what an idiot. But then I'm like, I was doing this too, so like I obviously was an idiot for that time. So I feel just so bad that I not only put myself into risk all the time, but others as well. And I was just making, there's other bad decisions, like, and also with like the drunk driving, like I feel like I was always that person to, go home early. I was always the first person to leave, a function, because like I like want to get home away from everything. I want to settle down. And I want to try to, sleep as much as I can, even though, I'm getting, little sleep. But I was always the first person person to leave when I felt like, the limit is about to get crossed and I don't want to go over that limit of like, just being completely like blacked out and driving. But there's a point in time where I started staying. I was always still the first person to leave, but I would stay, at the function for an hour or two later, so I'm engaging in more, alcoholic beverages and then, driving. But just looking back at it, like I was a fucking dumbass. Like there's no way like to go around it, but like I was a dumbass. So yeah, and I was also just making other decisions like after leaving the bar, like just going to places or meeting up with people that like I have no desire to like. I feel like I was just like leading some people on in a sense, and these people would text me, call me, and I'm like I don't want anything to like to do with you. This was just kind of just like a drunk dial, and I started doing that, and it just like that's not who I am. So I felt really bad about that as well. Just putting people in a position where they feel like I'm leading them on, which was like never my intention at all. But again, like I'm just drunk and my mind's not there. And like just thinking about that kind of stuff sober, I'm like, I would never do that like in my right mind, like at all. Like I wouldn't want anybody to do that to me, like at all. So like I don't want to do it to anybody. And I was doing that and I'm just like, Bruce, like this is just so hypocritical. And again, like this is not who you are and, a sober mind. So I'm like, this those bad decisions, like, just another reason that led me to, stop drinking. And then lastly, just everything I mentioned just comes down to like mental health. My mental health was just deteriorating, like just one by one by one, just a constant state of just like deterioration. And everything I mentioned, like hangovers, tension headaches, and anxiety, panic attacks, depression, and the bad decisions just all affected, my mental health. And I've never really had mental health problems until, 2022. I got the date right, when all those life altering, moments were happening. And it really sucked. And, like my emotional, my psychological, and my social well-being was just at an all-time like low. And at this point, I was really just hating myself, and I did not like the person I was becoming like at all, because I knew deep down inside like who I actually was. And before all of this, I wanted that person back. Like not only did I want the old Bruce back, but I wanted to get better. Better each and every day. And it took me, a while to realize it when I was in my depression and going through everything. But like all those issues like stemmed from one thing and one thing only, and it was alcohol. So like I had to get out before I 100% like lost myself. And enough was enough, and it was just time for change to get my life back on track and kind of revert back to the person who, I was before all of this. So now like being, sober for, it would be actually a year tomorrow. Today is the February 17th. 365 days is tomorrow, February 18th, but the real day is February 19th. But you know how the calendar works and the leap years and all that good stuff. 1 year is actually tomorrow, but I'm always just going to say February 19th just because it's just easier that way. But I definitely will be celebrating the 365 days tomorrow as well, because, it means a lot to me. But I feel just like so amazing mentally, physically, emotionally. I feel like so at peace. Like all like growing up, I felt like nothing really like crazy like happened to me. Like there was definitely some things that like, happened 100%. Like, I had like one of my best friends passed away. Again, I'm so bad at years, like 2016. I think it was maybe 2014, 15, somewhere along the lines of those years. I had, my grandparents pass away. But all that kind of like, I was younger then, like all that kind of happened at one time. But like, in 2022, I had those back to back to back events that happened to me. And so I just really didn't know how to deal with all that at once, especially like with alcohol being involved as well, which did not help like at all. So yeah, I just feel amazing. I feel at peace now, and I feel so much better internally because like now I know like I am such a better human than I was, when I was in that depression. Um, and I can see it like in my everyday life. I feel like I'm smiling more. I feel like I'm talking to people because there's a long time where I feel like I really became like alcohol like dependent. Like um, anywhere I went, like I feel like I had to like either have a drink before I went to the function, or on the way to the function. But like I had to have like a drink is because like I feel like I was alcohol dependent. Like I feel like if I talked to you like at a bar or something, like it had to be with the influence of alcohol, which like I was never that way like growing up. Like I never needed alcohol to function at all. And like in a sense I became a functioning like, I know they call it now like alcohol use disorder. Like I wouldn't say like I was an alcoholic. Um yeah, I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic. I just, drank a lot. I drank a lot. I was very much like I was able to get, my shit done. I feel like I was just battling, a lot of stuff like mentally. Um but yeah, but like I feel like so much like at peace now and everything is great. So yeah. So that is, all those reasons why I stopped drinking. And now we're going to like fast forward into now my actual like journey of sobriety, of not drinking any alcohol. And let me just tell you, it has been a very much rewarding year, but there's also a lot that comes with it, that we're going to, dive deep into, and, the next, in the coming episodes for sure. So I'm very, oh, I think my Amazon packages have arrived. Hell yeah. I got two pair of shoes from Otto. And also I got some like gummies, like sour sop gummies. Um, I can't remember what they like do for. I was just on Amazon ordering shit, but yeah, I'm excited to perfect timing because this is about to end. So I'm about to go get my shoes. So yeah, I'm so excited for these next episodes, for you guys to learn about this journey. And again, if you guys have any questions about anything, just drop me a message, DM me, and I for sure will respond to you. I'm always here to help. Like I'm such a helper, such a people pleaser, and I'm here to help for sure. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. What's up, Foxies? Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And be sure to follow me on social media at TheFoxHolePod. See you next time.